All right, so we're about to take this on a 5,000 mile round trip journey in a couple weeks. And I wanted to get everything sorted out on it. I had a clunk coming from the front end, so I took it to a local shop. We're not gonna say the shop name, we'll just call it Schmeierstone. So I took it to Schmeierstone and they diagnosed it as a lower control arm bushing, which is common, common for these. So I took last weekend and I replaced the whole lower control arm because that's easier than getting bushings pressed into the old control arm. And part of removing that meant that I accidentally destroyed the ball joint. So after a alignment and everything later, guess what? The clunk was still there. So after all that, they had misdiagnosed it. We replaced the steering rack before that, still clunking. So, come to find out, there was a technical service bulletin out there for this. Let's get started and load it on the ramp. And I happened to come across TSB for this. And it said that the transmission mount right here, you will also notice that this bolt is too long and bent, was bad, or that the bolts would come loose. And as you can see here, there's only 2 bolts in. So 2 of the bolts have fallen out. So what I did was I tightened it, and after I tightened it, the clunking stopped. So what I did was I move out the way. So after I not replaced the bolts, but I tightened the bolts, the clunking completely stopped. So today we're going to be replacing these bolts, and I'm going to put some never sees on them so that they don't fall off again or as easily. So now that we have it up on ramps, got the parking brake on, we're going to go ahead and add some Loctite to, this is the part number that, it's actually the order number. I'll send the part number in the comments that you need to have in order to do this. So let's go ahead and get started. So here is the part number for the bolt and washer that you're going to need. Now there's 4 on the bottom. What we're going to see is if the old ones are the same size. I want to make sure that they're the same thread count or the same threading. So let's see. First thing we got to do, get our light. See, that looks a lot smaller. You can see that. Let's see. You do better. So yeah. Oh man, I'm doing horrible at this lighting thing. So that bolt right there is going to be much smaller, I think. Let me go ahead and take it out. Let's see. Give it a shot. All right, now if I remember correctly, this, yep, it's a 10 millimeter. It's pretty long too. It's so long that it's clear that someone put the wrong bolt in. Like, check this out. See how long that is? It was running into the bracket up here. So clearly someone replaced this with the wrong one because it was way too long. Anyway, I'll go continue taking it out. So this one's a 10 millimeter. It'd be interesting to see if the threads are the same. I don't know if you can see this, but see how worn out these threads are? They're almost flat. Let's see what the replacement ones are. So the replacement one, it's much shorter. So here's the two different sizes. Looks about right thread wise. So let me change this socket out because the new one is a 12 millimeter, not a 10. Let's pop that in there. Oh, I wanted to put some Never Sees on there, or Loctite, not Never Sees. So I'm gonna go get that. Well, I'm gonna have to, sorry about the Batman angle there, but this, I have to cut the end off of, so I'll be right back. Oop, and we're back. And apparently I've dripped all over myself. Let's see here, let's put some on the bolt. And then see if the threads line up. All right. So far, so good. I think it's snug. But going in, so it feels like previously they boogered up the threads a little bit. Boogered up is a completely technical term. Right, so let's put some Loctite. And this thing runs like water. Yeah. Loctite's on, all over me. Let's try this back one. Something tells me that all of these were put in incorrectly. Oh, the holes are all off. Yep. So let's try this one. So something tells me I shouldn't have tightened that one so tight. We'll see. All right, so I'm taking the old 10 that was in there out. Hopefully you can see all this. Oh, this one doesn't feel good. I thought it was gonna break. Bet this one's super long too. So annoying. There it is. Big old mess. Too long. Wrong kind of threads. Well, just too long. All right. Put some of this on. It just runs everywhere. Come on, baby. snug. Let's see if we can get this one started in there. In spite of it all. Nope. Nope. Turns out I'm gonna have to loosen it and straighten it. All right, so I think what I have to do is I'm going to have to make that line up. Is I'm gonna have to tappy tap on this bracket. First I gotta loosen everything up. Loose. Just a few turns. Alright, so it needs to go that way. So let's see if it's any better. Ooh, it is. Alright, so wise as I am. I'm gonna start these threads. I think I have. I got that mosquito. See him right there. Ooh, that's tight. 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 All right. So now that we got these two, sorry guys, these two incorrect screws off, we should be good. No more clunking. Ta-da! So it's something like this half-hearted repair that just cost me a weekend of time. These two bolts, these two incorrect bolts in the transmission mount. Like, of course, there was a lazy diagnosis from the repair place and they could have done better, but their diagnosis of a lower control arm bushing when it was actually a TSB related to the bolts falling out of the transmission mount. I hope this saves you guys a lot more time than what happened to me.